If you care about the hidden mechanics behind football wealth and collapse, subscribe to Ballers and Billions right now. This channel exists for people who want the truth behind the headlines, not the highlight reels. What you're about to hear isn't gossip or moralizing. It's documented history about how overnight millionaires earning $100 million across a career can still lose everything, sometimes within just a few years of retirement. For the first minute, stay with me. Football sells the idea that money solves everything: massive contracts, packed stadiums, endorsement checks, and the illusion of permanence. But behind closed doors, many elite players were financially unprepared for the moment the final whistle blew on their careers. This isn't about mocking failure, it's about understanding systems, incentives, and human behavior. Because once you understand how these men went broke, you understand why football remains one of the most financially dangerous professions in global sport. The modern footballer often earns more before the age of 30 than most people earn in a lifetime. One contract can be worth $50 million or more, paid during years when identity, impulse control, and financial literacy are still forming. Clubs pay salaries, not education. Agents negotiate deals, not long-term survival. When retirement arrives suddenly through injury, loss of form, or age, the income stops almost overnight, but the lifestyle rarely does. Many players entered adulthood with no financial foundation. Some supported extended families, some trusted the wrong advisors, and others believed the money would never end. The collapse usually wasn't caused by one bad decision, but by a chain of unchecked habits that only became visible after the game was gone. At his peak, Ronaldinho was football's most marketable entertainer. He earned tens of millions through contracts, endorsements, and bonuses, becoming an overnight millionaire many times over. Yet after retirement, reports showed unpaid taxes, frozen accounts, and assets seized. At one point, his passport was reportedly confiscated over financial disputes. This wasn't a player who lacked income. It was a player who lacked financial structure, oversight, and restraint. His story shows how even generational talent can lose everything when spending, legal issues, and mismanagement collide. Paul Gascoigne earned millions across his career and was one of England's most recognizable footballers, but post-retirement, his finances collapsed under the weight of addiction, failed investments, and constant personal crises. Money became fuel rather than security. Court cases, rehabilitation costs, and broken business ventures drained what once seemed endless. Gascoigne's story demonstrates how psychological health and financial health are inseparable, especially when fame amplifies every weakness. Diego Maradona earned enormous sums through football contracts, appearance fees, and sponsorships, yet he later faced massive tax debts, legal battles, and asset seizures. At one point, Italian authorities pursued him for tens of millions in unpaid taxes. Despite earning well over $100 million during his lifetime, much of it disappeared through legal disputes, lifestyle excesses, and poor financial oversight. Maradona's case shows how legal obligations can quietly erase fortunes long after the cheering stops. David James earned substantial Premier League wages across a long career, yet after retirement, he publicly acknowledged financial collapse, stating that failed business ventures and poor advice drained his wealth. He wasn't reckless in the traditional sense. He invested. He trusted professionals, but without personal oversight and financial literacy, those investments turned into losses. His experience highlights how even disciplined professionals can lose everything if they delegate blindly. Emmanuel Eboué played at the highest level, earning millions in one contract alone during his peak years. After retirement, he revealed that divorce settlements, legal disputes, and mismanagement left him nearly broke. At one point, he publicly stated he was couchsurfing and relying on friends. His story shocked fans because it contradicted the assumption that modern footballers are protected by systems. They aren't. They're protected only if they protect themselves. Football rewards youth and performance, not longevity or planning. Income is compressed into a short window, while expenses stretch across a lifetime. Players often retire in their 30s with no replacement income stream. Without budgeting, diversified assets, and conservative spending, the fall can be fast. These cases weren't rare accidents. They were predictable outcomes of a system that prioritizes performance over preparation. Younger players now earn even more, faster. Social media accelerates lifestyle pressure. Friends become dependents. Advisors multiply. The risk hasn't disappeared, it's intensified. These stories remain evergreen because football still produces overnight millionaires who believe the peak will last forever. If this breakdown added real value to how you understand football history, subscribe to Ballers and Billions and share this video with someone who thinks wealth equals safety. The stories behind the money matter just as much as the goals on the pitch.